This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news, and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Georgia Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Bergamy.
Alrighty then, you heard the names. He's Kenny, I'm Ray, and as always, we cannot thank you enough for tuning into the Georgia Farm Monitor. In keeping with tradition, we have got a great show for you.
Yeah, coming up, farm moms making a difference. In honor of Mother's Day, this week we meet a special lady who somehow manages farm life with a career outside of agriculture. She's Emily Watson of Colquitt County, and she's got quite the story. Also on the program, with one of Georgia's largest solar projects now complete, the Monitor gets a behind-the-scenes look at the man-hours and teamwork it took to make this impressive creation in Hazlehurst become a reality.
And then later, their products have gained national praise from the likes of Oprah Winfrey and Rachel Ray. Now this Shamley company can add Flavor of Georgia winner to its list of accomplishments. These stories and so much more starting right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor. So, with Mother's Day upon us, this week we wrap up our three-part series honoring farm moms who are making a difference.
In Colquitt County, Emily Watson is proud to raise her kids on the same land that her husband grew up on. But not only does she spend long hours helping the family farm, she also has a career away from the farm.
I'm Emily Watson. I live here in Moultrie, Georgia on a farm with my husband, Sam, and two daughters, Lily and Lucy. From North Georgia originally, grew up on a dairy farm outside of Madison, but moved to South Georgia when Sam and I got married, and have loved it here and been happy ever since. Sam and I really consider it a privilege to be able to live on a farm and raise our kids on a farm. Obviously that's how he grew up and I grew up as well. So knowing that it's really difficult to get into production agriculture today, especially for young people. So we consider it a blessing and a privilege and are glad to be able to provide our kids with that lifestyle and just hope to continue to be able to in the future. I say all the time that we've got the prettiest sunset in Colquitt County. We renovated and are able to live in Sam's grandparents' home. And when they built it, it's on a hill and the kitchen sink looks right over the back pasture, and there's cows out there and a horse and 3 or 4 donkeys that are allowed from time to time. But it's beautiful and it is a blessing, and it's something you try not to take for granted, because I lived in DC for about 3 years. I've lived in the big city, and you certainly miss those things when you get away from this. For years I've worked with ag policy. I worked with Congressman Kingston, and then I worked with the University of Georgia in rural and community development. And I've now been with Colquitt Regional Medical Center as their marketing director for about 3 years. And you know, I love ag, and I'm not working with ag day to day right now in terms of my off the farm employment, but I'm working in an industry that is so very important to rural Georgians. So in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm still contributing to that. Rural health care is a really big deal, and you've got hospitals all over our state and rural communities especially that are struggling to stay afloat and provide that needed health care to rural Georgia. And we've been very fortunate at Colquitt Regional that we're doing well and we're growing. But in a lot of ways, I still feel like I'm benefiting rural Georgia and my roots by working in health care. But you know, there's so many life lessons I think that are learned growing up on the farm. And our kids are able to, I hope, gain those. They participate with the cows and, you know, checking the cows and moving hay, and of course they love electronics just like all other 7 and 10-year-olds, but their favorite toy is round hay bales. They can play on hay bales all afternoon, and so that's fun. And when you've got friends that come over, that's what they want to do. So there's lots of benefits and bonuses that come with living on a farm. We're able to have livestock, and so they participate with that. We've shown goats for a number of years, and we've started showing hogs this year, and the oldest shows horses now. So those are fun things that we're able to do growing up and living on a farm, and they're learning about responsibility. They're learning how to win and lose, you know, in the show ring and in life with grace, and I think that's a really valuable lesson. They're learning that with ag you can work really, really hard all season long and do everything right, but there's so many things that are completely out of your control. That we're not in charge, God's in charge, and we said our prayers last night and they prayed for Daddy's crops. And so that's a lesson that they're learning, and I'm proud that we're able to provide them with those experiences.
Very nice job, Emily. All right, in other ag news, commodity prices may have hit bottom during 2016, but according to American Farm Bureau Chief Economist Bob Young, that doesn't mean major price moves this year.
I think we can, a little bit of a revenue increase and a little bit of a cost decrease. When we look across the sector as a whole, I think we may see, I'm only talking about 2017 income, but maybe a couple $1 billion or so from 2016 out of 65, 70 or so. So nothing great, but I think it's just possible that we actually hit bottom in 16. If I'm a row crop guy, I'd kind of watch this wet, cool conditions that we've got now. It won't surprise me if these stay around for another couple weeks or so in the Midwest, that we'll begin to get some concerns on corn plantings, for example. And I'm not so convinced that we necessarily, unless we end up with a real crop situation, that we talk about a major price move this year. I just am very hard-pressed to see much of a price move on the wheat front. Cotton prices have had some movement there. If we do end up with this big crop in the ground, as we say we're going to get, I think cotton prices are sideways, maybe down a little bit.
Every year, the Georgia Farm Bureau sponsors a competition to promote the raising of high-quality hay. The farmers who compete not only get to brag about growing the best hay in Georgia, but they get a very nice prize as well. The Monitor's Mark Wildman has the story.
In Lawrence County, Jeff Bacon is connecting a new Vermeer mower to begin cutting his hay crop. And thanks to winning the Georgia Farm Bureau's hay contest, he gets to use this mower for free for 1 year, with an option to buy it at the end of the year. Jeff has been growing hay for many decades and believes in taking extra steps to ensure he grows the best hay possible.
I like to grow quality hay because I feed my cows and I sell a little bit to a good friend, and I shoot for good quality hay. I like to have a quantity, but quality means more than the quantity most of the time, because your cows don't consume as much when you got good quality hay. They maintain the body condition better when they got good quality hay than some of that just straw quality hay.
Georgia Farm Bureau has been partnering with Vermeer for many years, and both Vermeer and Georgia Farm Bureau members have benefited.
And what we found is that if the producer can make a better quality of product, then it's going to make him more money in the long run, and in profitability in their operation is what's going to sustain them and what's going to sustain Vermeer in the long run. Yes, I think it's a great thing that they do, where they drive the quality Bermuda grass in the South.
The competition promotes quality hay, and the way the hay is judged is by an RFQ rating.
RFQ is relative forage quality, and it's a formula they use with the analysis, counting the TDN, the moisture and protein and everything figured into a formula that gives you an idea of the quality of your hay, which lets you know basically what you can feed it to and how much supplementation you need. Or if you got real good hay like this, you really don't need any supplementation. Our average RFQ was 124. And Jeff had 164 in his RFQ, which is really good.
The top 5 winners of the contest receive a prize, and it is open to all Georgia Farm Bureau members. And if you want to enter,
we'll have it online. They can go to www.gfb.org, and it is a form there they can fill out. They can also go to the county office and fill out the form there.
Here on Jeff Bacon's farm, he is looking forward to another good hay crop, and to be able to cut this year's crop with a new mower.
This is a nice mower here. I'm really tickled to have this on my place.
Reporting from Lawrence County, I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Thank you, Mark. Up next on the program, just the sight of it alone is impressive, but wait until you see its planning and construction of the latest Hazlehurst solar farm.
My name is Ted Jenkins, and this is my wife,
Jerry Jenkins.
And we have been selected to be the winners of the 4-H Lifetime Achievement Award for 2017. We stayed here for 17 years and did the entire camping program, not only at Rock Eagle, but also at the camps that I've already mentioned. And During that time, we also opened a camp at Jekyll Island, and of course we named it the Jekyll Island 4-H Center.
It's great to see, you know, there's heart surgeons and doctors and lawyers and judges and school teachers and, you know, just in every walk of life. But what is really wonderful too, besides them being so successful in their life's endeavors, is they keep giving back to 4-H.
And I think of all the things, that was the important thing for me, was that I realized that it wasn't just children, but it was for the counselors, those young college students who were learning so many values of life.
Surprisingly, you would think you would be so tired you couldn't go, but nobody thought about being tired. They just thought about, you know, giving to the kids. I know one of the counselors used to say, "Miss Jerry, you know what? This is the hardest job you'll ever love."
I think the real winner in this whole episode was Ted Jenkins. I learned an awful lot about life, and I think that I grew considerably more than the children and the counselors who worked under us.
If you've taken a trip to Hazlehurst recently, you may have noticed a massive new addition there.
Last month, Silicon Ranch and Green Power EMC officially dedicated a state-of-the-art solar energy plant, the second energy plant completed by the partnership, which now makes Hazlehurst one of the top solar communities in the U.S.
Yeah, and thanks to our friends at Silicon Ranch, Green Power EMC, and CameraWorks Media, we can now show you the incredible effort and manpower that went into making the project become a reality.
Hazlehurst 2 is a very important project to Silicon Ranch. It is a follow-on project with Green Power EMC, an extremely important customer of ours. It's a project that's 3 times larger than the first project we did, which to me expresses the confidence and support that Green Power EMC has in our company and their members have in us. It's also important to the community, to Jeff Davis County, and the county now has revenues to do things in terms of education and community enhancement that they otherwise wouldn't have had. And so it's rewarding to know that we're making a very positive difference in the lives of the county where we've located and in the lives of the citizens of Georgia who are the customers of Green Power EMC, as they get a larger amount of their energy from clean, renewable, solar generated electricity.
Very proud of the new project that we have here in Georgia. This new solar project is about 500 acres. Be a great addition to our cooperatives portfolio, bringing new sources of renewable energy to a growing, interested group of customers. Very proud of our partnership with Silicon Ranch and the strong relationship we've been able to build on in the second project that we have engaged with them. Not only are they super individuals to work with, their leaders, Matt Kisper and Reagan Farr, are champions in this business and very much appreciate the opportunity to work with them. They not only help us stay on the cutting edge of new technology, they also keep us on the leading edge of the cost of this technology, enabling us to bring very high quality solar energy at a very affordable cost. This new technology is very exciting in this particular site. This site has a tracking system that will follow the sun throughout the day, maximizing the amount of energy that we can gather from this very unique source of energy. In addition, we're using thin film solar panels that allow some of the most efficient gathering of solar energy from sunlight that's available today. Thank you to our membership and thank you to our board of directors whose guidance has allowed us to fill this very interesting and exciting role among the electric cooperatives in the state of Georgia.
So Jeff is a great example of a true partner, because what Green Power EMC is doing in Georgia is also unique within the space. Georgia is a leader in my mind in collaboration among all of the 38 co-ops. They formed very early on Green Power EMC to be the procurement agent for renewable energy on their behalf in the state of Georgia. So Jeff has been leading that organization for over a decade now and has done a tremendous job. And by putting someone like Jeff, who's passionate about the space, passionate about always being on the leading edge, in charge of developing that procurement strategy on behalf of the co-ops, what you've seen is he's been able to develop opportunities and knowledge that make him a perfect partner for someone like Silicon Ranch. So on projects with Green Power, I look at them more as collaborative efforts to achieve a mutual goal, and that's really to grow renewable energy in the state of Georgia at an affordable price in a way that's accretive to ratepayers in the state, and also has a positive impact on the community and the customers that these cooperatives ultimately serve.
Simply amazing, isn't it? Now, we also spoke with Matt Beasley, Silicon Ranch's Chief Marketing Officer, who had this to say about the project. Quote, Silicon Ranch is honored to partner with Green Power EMC and their member co-ops from across the state of Georgia. More than 30 co-ops share in the energy produced by the two projects in Hazlehurst, which is truly a testament to their guiding principle of cooperation among cooperatives. Together, they have helped make Georgia the fastest growing solar state in America and have established a model for other states to follow. Stay tuned, the Monitor continues right after this quick break.
This is a futuristic look at recycling, taking materials we no longer need or want and making something useful. Wood chips, tires, and biosolids are brought to this Lebanon plant. Waste is fed through, but not burned or incinerated. Rather, the materials are sent through a gasification system, heated and changed.
Well, it's really exciting because we are the first downdraft and largest downdraft gasifier in the world to be operational. So that's a game changer in itself.
The plant converts waste into electricity to power Lebanon's wastewater treatment facility just across the road. And the entire gasification process keeps some 8,000 tons of waste a year from ending up in a landfill.
Well, the real cool thing is everything that comes into this facility is either converted to energy or a useful product.
And we believe that the best solution for the ever-increasing amount of waste that we have in the world is to convert it to clean energy. And that's what we wanted to do here, and that's what we were able to put together with the City of Lebanon.
Mike Webb with Aries Clean Energy says other municipalities are now looking at the Lebanon plant, a standout because of its efficiency.
It's 3,000 degrees inside the gasifier. There's a thermochemical breakdown. There's not any oxygen inside. Two things come out. One is fuel gas, and the other is the biochar.
Biochar is this grainy black substance, much like charcoal. It can be used in industry and agriculture, containing nutrients to improve crops and forage.
This facility is able to take in some 60 tons of waste a day.
and it could produce upwards of 3 tons of biochar in 24 hours.
Biochar has got great potential as a soil amendment. Biochar is a carbon-rich material.
Dr. Forbes Walker is a soil scientist who has consulted the gasification plant. He calls the plant and the energy and biochar it produces a win-win proposition for the city and Tennessee farming.
When we apply it to the soil, it can improve the soil physical properties, the soil chemical properties, and the soil biology. It can stimulate a lot of the soil biology that's going on. So it's a kind of got lots of potential to improve the quality and the health of our soils.
Lebanon hopes to be a zero landfill city. This plant goes a long way in helping to reach that goal. And it's not only what's eliminated here, it's also what's created. This is Charles Denny reporting.
Finally today, each and every year, food and beverage companies from around the state enter the Flavor of Georgia contest, hoping to walk away with the grand prize.
And this year, that would be Georgia Grinders out of Chamblee, who took home the top prize with their pecan butter. Damon Jones takes a look at this young business who is making a name for themselves.
While it might be relatively new on the scene, Georgia Grinders has already received plenty of accolades for their premium nut butter products. The idea to start up their own company came about when Jamie and Harry Foster decided to share an old family recipe with the public.
We started this business 5 years ago when we decided to share my grandfather's recipe for almond butter with the world. He started making almond butter back in the 1970s as part of an initiative to combat his genetic predisposition to cardiovascular disease. I grew up eating this almond butter, shared it with friends and family. Nothing compared to it commercially available, so we decided to turn it into a business.
And the public agreed, as their almond butter was named one of Oprah's favorite things back in 2013. And with that kind of early commercial success, expanding the operation was the next logical step. And what better place to do that than right here in Georgia?
And we kept looking at what was here locally in Georgia, and it was peanuts and pecans. So it was just a logical thing to do. We source our pecans from a 5th-generation farm in Fort Valley, Georgia. Great people. Our peanuts all come out of South Georgia. So it's awesome to have this local, small family business type connections that is truly what people want to know.
And that decision paid off as they recently beat out 33 other finalists to win the Flavor of Georgia Grand Prize for 2017.
We are extremely humbled and honored that the judges selected our pecan butter, and just really a testament to the quality of work that we do here. You know, we've really perfected the roasting process, the grinding process.
With the ingredients simply being the nut and some sea salt, getting the best product to work with is essential to making this award-winning spread.
The quality of our product is premium because we source the highest quality nuts available. There's so many varieties and grades of almonds, peanuts, cashews, pecans, and it makes such a difference in the end process.
And it's a finished product the Fosters are proud to share with the public.
And what I really like about peanut butter is it takes you back to when you were a kid, and that's sort of what we did with Georgia Grinders products. We went simple, all natural. It's like what you got at home or on the farm growing up. So it's taking people back to a happy time, a simpler time, and we're happy that our product's something that can do that.
Reporting from Chamblee, I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Damon, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we are out of time.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Great week.